Wisnu adalah lambang dewa yang tertinggi. Ya tentu harus diletakkan di tempat yang terhormat yang tinggi. Dia akan terlihat di awan, di langit. Pada saat itu kita berdiri di bukit itu, gunung agungnya kelihatan dan gunung-gunung keramat kita tuh kelihatan dari sana. Dan disitulah kawasan yang ditemukan akhirnya kawasan diumasan itu yang merupakan
this journey to create this statue, this piece, monumental piece that is artistic, filled with meaning, and giving a representation of their community and bringing people together and bringing money and finances to their community, such as tourism. The people that actually live there are struggling. And you see these fears come out from these spaces and a similar notion of why they are fighting against. We kind of see this fight, this journey that they go on with not only the artist's journey to create the piece, but the journey that the people have gone to agree or disagree with this notion of if this sculpture should even exist in this town. So we kind of really get to see the different facets, and when it comes to their spiritual beliefs, it is something that stood out to me the most was they don't have anything higher than a coconut tree. And one of the lines of debate in the room as they're speaking these truths and trying to get this piece off the ground. And they want to bring this cultural notion. It's a story being told. It's historical. It's very them, right? And they want to create this representation. So we get to see this 30 years in the making experience of what ends up being such a beautiful piece. The sculpture is beautiful in itself, and we kind of get to see from then to now.
I loved how much history you got, literally 28 years, and the fact that they were able to go back and find footage from the very beginning of the process as well was just amazing to really be able to see what it kind of takes, not just to do the actual work of it, but the entire process of the land to the funding to any setbacks. And with something that takes that long and with a project that's that large, you do have government changes. And how does that affect your building something that size? I think that a lot of the time when we see huge sculptures, especially these days, we see huge sculptures, we kind of only see it as in like the beauty of it, or we see it and we assume or think that it's really old from a different time. And we don't ever really think about what goes into making something like that, what goes into actually crafting, what goes into building. Having the same visionary, having the same artist from the beginning to end is really incredible. And to see how much money it's now valued at, and that at the end of the day, he doesn't own any of it because that was the sacrifice to get the product done, I think is so amazing and definitely a story worth telling. And I loved the history behind it. And like I said, the fact that they really were able to go through the full 28-year process was really, really incredible to watch and get to see and witness just how much work, effort, love, passion, sweat, tears, emotion goes into a project like this.
You can feel like there's so many side stories alongside the project, and you can feel like the people who involved in this statue building, they have a strong passion and strong faith for this project. So even though it took so long to finish this statue, they still had drive and ambition to have it done, and eventually it's got erected in front of the airport in Indonesia. So it's not only just about like art, it's about like passion, but it's also about like context, like in the country during like the greenlit time until the present time as well. So I feel like it's well informative, it's well narrated, and at the same time with footages and interview shots, it's kind of make us understand like better about the project and why it needs to happen like in Indonesia.
It has some great visuals and camera work that works together so nicely in bringing together such a great and educational documentary. I love how the opening of the documentary shows the moment that the head is about to be placed on, but then it cuts right before it's actually placed, sort of giving the audience suspense and some tension into wanting to see it fully unveiled. And as the closing of the documentary comes in, we get to see the full development and the full construction of the giants.
I liked how the film provided so much video footage dating back to many years ago when the project was initially started. It was so fascinating to hear the artist's description of the process, artistically, spiritually, and economically. It was really enjoyable to see how all the pieces came together with the help of so many brave people. Some footage was just dizzying. I was interested in hearing from family members too about their take on the whole process. Excellent soundtrack, so dramatic and beautiful. Lovely animation section about the artist's boyhood influences.
It has a lot of really great perspectives from the cast of characters, and the combination of footage from live events and then interviews with different members of the cast really adds to the storytelling and altogether brings us along for the journey.